What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video, I'll be telling you absolutely everything you need to know about the upcoming Downtime update and what's going to be happening with it. It should be happening later tonight at around 3 to 4 in the morning Eastern Time, as it typically does, but it seems to be a heavily content-focused update in terms of collaborations, so we're going to be starting off today's video by talking about a lot of those collaborations that are set to go down. Firstly, Playboy Carti is going to be crashing into the Fortnite item shop on December 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so if you're someone who remembers seeing Playboy Carti in the live event, that is finally going to be releasing in the item shop with 2 different skins and a few other cosmetics. So firstly, I'll go ahead and show the first skin on screen right now for you guys. Go ahead and look at it. This one will be available in a bundle which includes absolutely everything except for one of the jam tracks, and so will the other skin we're going to be talking about, which you can see on screen right now as well. Now, these don't appear to be variants based on the description and based on what they've told Epic, or I guess based on what Epic has told content creators early. It appears to be 2 completely separate skins, but in total we'll have a total of 2 outfits, 2 back blings, 2 emotes, 1 wrap, 2 instruments, 1 jam track, all inside of a Playboy Carti bundle, with an additional jam track being able to be purchased separately in its own jam track section. So that is something to kind of keep your eyes out for. As usual with these type of collaborations, they end up doing 2 jam tracks, 1 in a bundle and 1 outside of it, but overall a decent amount of cosmetics for this collab. Other than that, we also have brand new Lego Ninjago cosmetics hitting the Fortnite item shop December 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as well, being 3 outfits, 3 back blings, 3 pickaxes, and 3 emotes. Now, each of the different sets are going to be related to the 3 characters reaching the item shop soon, being Jay, Cole, and Zane. However, it appears that they're not going to have their own individual bundles, or if they do, it hasn't really been mentioned, and instead they're going to have bundles for every single one of the Ninjago characters releasing in Wave 1 right away. So there will be a huge Lego Ninjago bundle that includes all 3 of the outfits, all 3 of the back blings, all 3 of the pickaxes, and of course all 3 of the emotes. And then on top of those 2 collaborations releasing in the item shop on December 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we also have the 1972 Corvette Stingray releasing in the item shop at the same time as part of a whole entire collaboration with the Lost chapter, you know, Yuki's Revenge for Kill Bill. So that is something very interesting to see happen. We're getting 3 collaborations releasing in the item shop at the exact same time. Lego Ninjago, we have Playboy Carti, and we're getting the Chevrolet Corvette Stingray as well. Now, the Corvette Stingray bundle will include 1 vehicle body, 1 decal, it doesn't appear like it's going to have any of like the flame decals or anything like that, and 2 sets of wheels. Now, sometimes when they've advertised 2 sets of wheels being included with bundles, it ended up where only 1 of the wheels were actually included in the bundle, so you know, sometimes there's little issues here and there with their wording, so kind of keep in mind that it appears that it's going to be this way. However, of course, once it actually releases in the item shop in the next shop reset, not the one tonight, but the one right afterwards, then we should be getting more and more information and figuring out how it's actually supposed to work once it's all, you know, implemented into the shop. So kind of keep your eyes open for potentially, you know, a higher price, a lower price than what you might be expecting. But with that said, let's talk about everything else as well. We have brand new jam tracks that are set to release in the item shop soon, being Daft Punk's One More Time and the Marias, and I might have butchered that name, my apologies, no one noticed, but both of these jam tracks are kind of having a weird situation right now. Originally, the No One Noticed jam track was supposed to release last night, and then they ended up scrapping that and delaying it a little bit later, and then they kind of had the wrong dates posted for when both of these jam tracks were going to release, and after they corrected themselves on social media like 3 times, the official Fortnite status account deleted every post about these. So we don't currently know what's happening with the 2 new jam tracks, One More Time and No One Noticed, but it appears like some weird stuff is going on behind the scenes where they might have potentially scrapped new jam tracks releasing this week and instead have decided to delay it a longer time or whatever else due to these last minute changes happening over and over and over, and what it appears to be Fortnite status, or I guess, you know, Fortnite Festival's official accounts themselves not even knowing when their own jam tracks are supposed to release in their own game. So who knows what's really going on there. I know there's been a lot of, you know, people discussing the current state of like Fortnite Festival and everything else, and regardless of how much love or lack of Fortnite Festival has been getting, it is nice to know that it at least got a resurgence in, you know, plastic instruments and all those type of things, you know, rhythm games in general, because that's a genre that definitely is a unique place in just the gaming ecosystem. So who knows what's going on right now, but at least we do know that if there are going to be jam tracks releasing this week, then we should be aware of them already being no one noticed in one more time. Now, another thing to actually mention about these two is that when Epic Games was kind of hyping it up on social media before they said they were releasing this week, and before they kind of like scrapped that, and before they like delayed it out of nowhere, they said it was going to be releasing over the next week. So it appears that there's a chance that even though it's not releasing this week, or even though they kind of deleted some stuff, their word might still be correct, and we might actually see these releasing not this week, but next week into the Fortnite item shop, and then we'll start getting a new set of how they actually end up releasing jam tracks being every other week instead of every single week. Who knows what's going on there? It's a very odd situation, but we should have some updates here and there, hopefully with the next update to Fortnite, which will be happening later tonight. Now, other than that, there is of course going to be new weekly quests. Apparently there's going to be more narrative quests. Now, I know if you guys have actually gotten the skin right here, Dark Voyager, then one of the quests that you were able to actually do was to find some holotapes around the map, and there were 2 different holotapes you were able to actually interact with. However, there's 2 more from the order that actually have not been found in game yet, as far as I'm aware. So these are currently unobtainable, and they'll most likely be enabled for a part 2 of the story quest or something like that being added with tonight's Downtime update. So that's definitely something kind of keep your eyes out for. The audio messages have already been leaked, but there still could be more stuff going on with it that we just currently don't know about. Now, of course, on top of all the collaborations we've already mentioned in today's YouTube video, the Courage JD cosmetics will be added to the game files tomorrow. However, it's not for certain if it's going to be decrypted right away or if it'll be decrypted when he's live on stream so that he can have the first reaction instead of, you know, us seeing the video footage and all of it beforehand and then being able to make our own showcases before he himself is able to make content with the cosmetics other than the content he's already made. So that might be decrypted right away, it might not. We really just kind of gotta wait and see what happens there. But other than that, we have a lot of roadmaps relating to 2 new seasons, being the new LEGO Ninjago season and the new Fortnite OG season. So I'll go ahead and put the Fortnite OG teaser on screen right now, where you can see a lot of stuff going down there. We can see a glimpse at the brand new Fortnite OG Victory Umbrella, which has a nice little ice theme kind of going on with it. Now, something I don't really like about the Fortnite OG umbrellas recently is they've always kind of just done graffiti on a normal umbrella. And you know, it's like, all right, I understand what you're going at here, but it kind of feels cheap in a sense, right? Because the original like chapter 1 season 7 umbrellas and all the old chapter 1 umbrellas had unique designs on them, and now it's just here's the default umbrella with a little bit of like a unique graffiti effect on it. And since I'm kind of shooting at some stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, hide that so you guys can actually see the gameplay instead of just hearing random gunshots with no actual visual going on at all. In terms of loot pull changes that we're also seeing in that image, however, we have the suppressed sniper rifle, the scoped revolver, the dual pistols, the scoped assault rifle, we have ourselves balloons, stink bombs, boom boxes, and glider redeploy. And then of course we have ourselves some unique things that are returning that, you know, a lot of people have been kind of wanting to see in Fortnite OG for a while now, being the X4 Stormwing and the Infinity Blade. Now the Infinity Blade is currently in the files for Fortnite OG. I actually mentioned it in the current game update, so that one at least can happen at any time they want. But yeah, the Infinity Blade is going to be returning to OG, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it kind of works in that ecosystem, especially after all the changes and after we remember what happened with the Infinity Blade way back in the original Chapter 1 Season 7. Now I'll go ahead and put the image back on screen so you can see stuff like Polar Peak, Happy Hamlet, and Frosty Flights. But, you know, in terms of stuff, it's going to basically be another Fortnite OG season with a lot of, you know, new skins themed around the old Chapter 1 Season 7 skins as well. Other than that, we have the new LEGO Ninjago Pass, which after I get this elimination, I'll go ahead and pop that image on screen so we can talk about that roadmap as well. So here, that is for you guys to actually look at. You can see some of the new locations being the Lightning, Earth, and Ice Sanctums. You can see new gameplay being a 2-part LEGO Ninjago story with part 1 going live now and part 2 in 2026. New gameplay such as becoming a ninja, having elemental abilities, new enemies, and daily chest rewards coming to LEGO Fortnite Odyssey. Or that could be Odyssey, it could be Brick Life. I think it's Odyssey though. New biomes including the Skyward Steppes, the Breakwater Bluffs, and the Forest of Spirits, and the new weapon crafting and abilities such as nunchucks and shurikens, but a decent amount of things actually going on for LEGO Fortnite Odyssey and Brick Life because they have kind of gone ahead and mentioned some of those changes. So I'll go ahead and list off some of those changes coming in the next update for LEGO Fortnite across both of those modes real quickly here. Of course, right when I have to start reading stuff is when they're going to shoot a million laser enemies at me. Hold on one moment. All right. Ninjago Island is under siege. Harness your ninja abilities as elemental creatures rise again and again across the island. Drive them out, reclaim each location, and ensure that you continue to clear them out when they return in order to earn rewards. A new Lego Ninjago pass is now available where you'll automatically unlock the Kai outfit if you obtain it, and as you progress you'll pick up some awesome new builds to add to your collection, such as the Palace of the Oni, Ninja Island Monastery, and Ninja Dragon Temple. You'll start out on the Ninjago Island when the update goes live. Before the update, log off at one of your villages to make sure you don't lose any vehicles or items, and then it mentions there's going to be Twitch drops active and everything else. However, if I go through here, it mentions a lot of the upgrades and things they're choosing, right? You know, being able to be a ninja, have ninja abilities, use shurikens, use nunchucks, all that type of stuff. But then they also go on to talk about new things that they didn't really mention before, like elemental totems. These new elemental totems are going to allow you to have higher levels of health charms, regeneration charms in most weapons, and you'll be able to craft relics onto your weapons to unlock elemental abilities, meaning you can infuse a weapon with ice, lightning, earth, or fire damage, meaning you'll be able to actually have elemental damages across all your different weapons in the game now. And honestly, just a lot of changes there, right? You know, but in terms of bug fixes, they resolved an issue where NPCs could spawn at the same location and float away. They resolved an issue where a network connection error could actually occur, preventing some players from joining and playing their own worlds. They fixed an issue where some players were able to find the Storm Survivor camp. They fixed an issue where the players would get stuck on respawning while the bed was destroyed. And they also fixed an issue where the fly mode wouldn't override after eating a flying fish sandwich. And then in Brick Life, they're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of Brick Life with some new additions. There's going to be a new birthday bounce POI and a collection of new decor items. The birthday decor prop bundle and bounce pad rug will be available for your home. New build called the Bouncy Castle that you can purchase with creds in that mode. Please note that all decor items in the Bouncy Castle bundle are only usable in Brick Life. And then they mentioned that you'll be able to find your neighbors to start a snowball fight in Brick Life now. A special gift wrapping station will be available where you can wrap gifts and distribute them to other players. They have a new recipe potion for you where you can make your own snowman, and you can now place an oven, stovetop, and gift wrapping station in your home, giving you even more ways to customize. In terms of bug fixes, they fixed an issue where the Daft Pyramid from the Daft Punk collaboration would disappear at a certain distance. They fixed an issue with floating grass, and they fixed an issue that caused the game to crash. In terms of other things going on with this update as well, because honestly there is a lot to talk about, the main thing to kind of mention here is the fact that it appears, based on all the information we've seen and everything, that the new Rocket League cosmetics from the new Rocket League season will be carried over to Fortnite with tonight's Downtime update. So all the season 21 cosmetics have been added for the most part, including all of the wills, a lot of stuff regarding the actual DeLorean, which now has the cross-game tag in not Fortnite, but in Rocket League for Fortnite. All that stuff should actually arrive over in Fortnite with the next update, with certain things like the DeLorean most likely being encrypted. And then as a final bit of today's video, some of the bugs that are set to be fixed tonight across all of the different modes, if I can pull this up here on my other monitor, are as follows. For general issues, Battle Pass may incorrectly display only 84 rewards to claim at level 100 plus. This will be fixed in the next update. The issue where the Katana presentation emote wasn't properly displaying will be fixed in the next update. For Battle Royale / Blitz / Reload / OG, they all combined into one category. We have the 2 bug fixes. Reverting to a solo mode after coming back to the lobby from a duo, trio, or squad match will no longer happen, so if you're in duos, you'll stay in duos and not go to solos after the match. And then limited controller navigation on the post-match screen has been fixed. What this means is that you will be able to actually select certain buttons, or be able to move around your menu after selecting the play again button, instead of being soft locked out of those different match recap and match stats buttons as well. For Fortnite Mobile, they're going to be fixing 2 issues, one of which is regarding higher sensitivity on some iPad Pro 11 devices, and then a issue where the grayed out play now button in the compete tab was actually showing up there. That should be fixed. For Save the World, we have 6 bug fixes. One where ninjas will now be able to use Mantis Leap consistently after using it again now, so you won't have an issue where you use Mantis Leap and then you just can't use it again. They'll fix an issue where completing a mission may cause power rating to be lower than it actually is. They'll be fixing a few other issues, such as venture power rating being lower than intended, select quantity to craft not properly working as intended if a controller is used, power level scaling not matching intended enemy difficulties in in-game missions, gadgets and tool upgrades not updating correctly for some players. And then for Rocket Racing, we have 1 bug fix, which is individual tracks temporarily appearing as unavailable. That should be fixed. So a ton of bug fixes, a ton of of new collaborations, and more coming with tonight's Downtime update. As usual, we'll be doing a showcase of all the new cosmetics added once the update actually drops, so stay tuned for all of that and more. And until then, like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, and peace out.